back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Zone for Machi versus G2 Esports. Now, before we get into our pre-match, we are going to take a look at the stakes. Now, for Machi, one loss, or if they lose this game, basically, they are eliminated from the from playoff contention or from knockout contention. They are out of the groups. The same, of course, goes for TL later. And for G2 and for Suning, it means that one win locks them in to the next round. So with that information, it is do or die for Machi, and G2 is looking to win another game after they won the opening game versus Team Liquid. Now, we wanted to focus in on a role that doesn't get talked about that often and doesn't get praised that often, but it should now. The support role, and Mickey X in particular for G2 Esports. Now, Yamatocannon, you were actually a coach for Mickey when he started out in Splice here in Europe. What can you tell us about his origin story?
My goodness, good times, good times.
Oh,
I miss Mickey so much. I think, when we found him, I think that was the only good thing that ever came out of Dynamic Queue, because there was no solo queue at the time. So we were playing fives. It was me, Spirit, Kobe, and Mickey was just solo queue player at the time. And then we saw how quickly he picked up on whatever I shared with him, whatever Spirit shared with him, and he just improved so rapidly by just us playing five in solo queue. And then I was like, okay, Mickey, I'm going to grab you into the team. And then already in his first year, second place, we lost against G2, which is no shame in that. G2 was dominating back then. Yeah. And we went to the World Championship, and this guy, together with Kobe, solo killed Uzi and Mata.
Oh, if that is not one for the history books. Of course, the story changed then for Mickey. A stint on Misfits we don't talk about. He ended up with G2 Esports, and that is really where he started to solidify himself as one of the best, if not the best support in Europe. And I think we also have to highlight the fact that Mickey, he didn't get it so easy with G2. He had to adjust to different marksmen when they role swapped with caps, with perks, but it was seemingly easy for him.
Yeah, it's just, I think his personality just matches perfectly for it. Because the only issue I had with Mickey was the man was playing too much.
Too much.
He's just playing too much. I was like, calm down. I know you love League of Legends, but you need to relax a little bit. And I think in terms of the approach that you need to have when you have someone switching from mid, perks for the first time, going to bot side, I think you just need to put in a lot of time and efforts. And Mickey and Perks, they share a love for the game, and it was noticeable in the off-season. They played so many solo queue games, so many games, and for that, Mickey is just the right person for it.
He is. Well, could you just look at the camera, please, Mickey? We're trying to talk about you here. Just kidding, of course. Last year was a huge success, but I want to focus in a bit on this year, and then Mickey X in particular. He had the wrist issues, of course, also last year. That all seems to be behind them. What can you tell me about Mickey and how he's been performing with G2 in this World Championship so far?
Honestly, it's great to see him perform so well, because, it's crazy to think for me, now I know Mickey in such a rookie-like, because I worked with him back then, but now he's a full-fledged veteran. The man knows how to perform when it matters. He had the wrist issues, which I think also gave him the chance to recognize that taking breaks and taking a step back is going to be beneficial for you. And I think he has nailed that combination of how much he needs to play and to perform when it matters, because coming into the group stage, he is an absolute monster.
He has been. I mean, the cheeky ward play here versus Suning was so important. This game that they ended up losing, he tried his best on Alistar as well, but unfortunately ran into a big core JJ. So let's define what we've seen from Mickey now and take it in the context of what G2 is trying to achieve here, which is a deep run in the tournament, but for today, a first place in Group A. That means they'd have to beat Machi right now and Suning later. How does what you've seen from Mickey, his playstyle and his initiative, fit into the game plan that G2 needs to do well here on the day?
I think we've seen so many different sides of Mickey. I think the bigger the responsibility, the more confidence I have in G2 to win. When he had that bar, the champion that has such a powerful ultimate in order to set the team up, he basically dominated the game on his own. When he was on the Alistar, the level of agency he has is not that big. So I just want to make sure that he's in a position where he can do as much as possible. Maybe put him in the mid lane. Maybe he can become a mid laner, play an OP role. No, of course he can't do that. Maybe he pulls out the Gragas, maybe. But I doubt it in this situation. I just want him to... Honestly, I think that's a good one. I want to see Gragas support.
You want to see Gragas support already? So let me keep that, in the back pocket
maybe I shouldn't
for
have
later.
revealed it. Oh, no.
Regardless, now they're up versus Machi. They won that game the first time around. But, with G2, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. What do you think they're going to focus on in this game versus Machi?
I feel like that loss against Team Liquid feels like some of those best-of-5 losses they had in the double elims in playoffs in the LEC. I think now they're kicked into new gear. I think they know what they need to do in order to get the the games that they're supposed to be winning on paper. They're going to come in with a solid idea, maybe the same approach as they did against Team Liquid, because this is a way that G2 knows that they can pick up wins. Maybe against Suning, they're going to bring it back and play, what is considered the meta. But for now, I think G2 just needs to keep it simple.
All right, let's see what happens. Mickey is having a standout tournament so far at Worlds, so we'll see what he can do after this.
G2 has persisted and Perkz insisted on a win in this game.